So, I mean, the Martha's Vineyard Commission is unbelievably supportive. We've spoken to them. We've done, shared events together to raise awareness, bring, stakeholders together. They're very supportive. They're actually helping me identify additional funding opportunities and other avenues. They give me a forum when I need it. And, the other thing is as we're thinking about a satellite system rather than this system that has this really high price tag, that the Martha's Vineyard Commission actually created a map, 15 years ago or 10 years ago of all of the land that would work under the general permit for a composting operation. So all of the regulations and distance from, water and all those sorts of things. So I actually have a map of all these areas, private land, conservation land, downtown land, all this land all over the place where we could have composting operations. So creating satellite systems, it's not the most efficient way, but it has a much lower price tag.
Thank you.
If I could just take a guess, I don't think that the DEP probably has a list of everybody that creates more than a ton of waste a week.
They do.
Do they? How do they
They
get
do.
That? You just assume a supermarket would have that?
Well, it's formulas. So the list that they're operating off now is a list from 2002. So it's a very old list. But they do have, that's the list that they use.
Don, did you want to say something? You've unmuted yourself.
No, I think that list that Eunice is talking about was made by, how many tables or seats they have per restaurant, and they have an average from that to figure it out. So they've had
how many days open.
Right. How many days open, how many seats.
Yeah. How many meals a day they serve.
Right.
Yeah, it's a formula. It would be great to redo that for the island.
The list can be found on their website too, fairly easily. You're curious.
But one thing that we've found doing collection is the people that we have, our current clients, when we compare what we're actually collecting from Mass DEP's estimations, they're significantly off, usually too low. In a couple of cases, too high, but mostly too low. So they're underestimating the volumes.
Oh, yes, John.
One last question. It's for Greg Carroll. Greg, can you go over those numbers again? If we were to go island-wide composting using the formulas that we have been presented today, how many trucks would be able to be safe going off? And I'm assuming those trucks would have to come back. So how many trips are we talking about on the Steamship Authority back and forth?
Eunice, you can correct me, but I think we came up with 260 round trips.
Yep.
That's for 650 tons projection for food waste, which if we get going on this, we can reach that. We can reach those numbers. It'll probably, 36 to 48 months is my opinion. I'll add that on the end disposal where we're disposing right now, they are looking through the loads and they are reporting to the DEP our percentages of food waste that are mixed in the loads, or something else gets mixed in. If they find a mattress or something, they've been really diligent the last 12 months. So I'll ditto what Eunice is saying. It's only a few months away before they start really enforcing things.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. No one else this has been very educational. I'm very glad that this task force, although it's the Steamship Authority created it to deal with issues, it indicates that many of the issues that we face are really dependent upon what the island decides to do with its systems. And I don't think the Steamship Authority is in the solid waste or waste reduction business except for our own operations. But what the island does itself will have a great impact on our operations. And while we make it clear that we support those initiatives all the way, and we hope that you're successful in that, and we can help everyone out in this endeavor.
I had one quick question for either Eunice or Graham. 75 years ago, we had a garbage container in the ground in my backyard, and they dumped everything in it, and a person came and he took it and he put it on this stinky truck and he drove it away. What were they doing then in those days with that garbage that was being collected? And it was just pure garbage.
It was pig farmers, and the pig farmers went away. That's the history. Or actually, I was just talking to this woman who's retiring from Mass DP who grew up in Waltham yesterday. Mm-hmm. And she was reminiscing about that very thing, that there was a tin and it was buried in the ground, and you push this lever and it opened, and the pig farmers would come by, and she said it's really that there's fewer and fewer pig farmers. I don't know if Graham, you have another story.
We don't have that here. And I think maybe because there weren't really pig farmers here. You know, what used to happen here was there were a couple of dump spots, and it was an unlined landfill at that point. You know, it was just going into the wetlands. And when the pile got too big, they would, keep pushing it into the water. And at a certain point, they started burning it. You know, the pile was too big, they'd light it on fire, and there you go.
I remember my grandparents having that in East Providence.
Yeah.
Way back when. And I remember I threw a banana peel in the trash can, and my grandfather gave me a smack in the head and said, "What's the matter with you? That goes in the garbage."
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Eunice, Graham, Dawn, Greg, and Adam in his absence. This has been extremely informative, and we all wish you well in your endeavors.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, it's already long past, but we'll try to go through other aspects. The next item on the agenda is the hopeful approval of the minutes of the Task Force March 18th, 2021 meeting.
I move approval of the minutes, but 15 pages, Steve?
I find
transcript.
People say important things, so I put them in.
I think it's good the way you do it. I mean, you didn't miss anything, so.
No, there are ideas in there that I want people to remember
right.
For the future. Is there a second?
Second.
I have point of order. So in the minutes, you have myself and Mark as task force members. We should be under the also participating because we're not voting members.
All right. I was just putting you as members, but not voting members. That's all.
Oh, okay. Well, you could.
Doesn't matter. It's
either way.
I think. Okay. Any discussion about the minutes? Mr. Braithwaite.
Braithwaite, aye.
Mr. Brown.
Brown, aye.
Mr. Cahill.
Cahill, aye.
Mr. Shatnover.
Shatnover, aye.
And Mr. Suso.
Suso, aye.
I think that's all that's here, and that's fine. I put on the agenda, and Doug Brown thought it would be a good idea as well, just to give the task force members a report on the Falmouth Transportation Management Committee's April 22nd meeting. They are going, it appears to be voting at their next meeting on May 13th on, it seems, I think it's fair to say, to strongly support, they can only make recommendations to the Falmouth Select Board.
Correct.
And they're going to recommend to the Falmouth Select Board to support Senator Moran's legislation that she filed earlier this year. They're also going to make recommendations about the Steamship Authority applying for grant applications in order to improve its freight operations. And it's unclear whether they are going to recommend that the selectmen vote to close Cowdery Road and Crane Street to truck traffic from 10 p.m. at night or 5:30 or 6 a.m. in the morning. It's unclear from that. They didn't take a vote. What they hope is that the Steamship Authority will reconsider the 5:30 freight trip. I think that's probably the issue. They've made several suggestions as to how the Steamship Authority can revise its operating schedules. We have a hearing on that on Monday on our proposed operating schedules, which again,